not confident that anybody cares anyway. I got to deal with this again, all this stuff again, on my own as a child. So, man, I'm telling you, I mean, it was like, man, just going back in hindsight, as an adult, 63-year-old man, just reflecting on the profundity, of a child through the eyes of a child. Remembering some of these big blows, psychological, emotional, blows that was that I was hit with at an early age in life, was devastated me, man. Devastated me. And I did have a cousin that finally, who was in the house that I began to attach myself to. His name is David Lee. He was around my age because my grandparents raised a couple of their kids. They had 9 kids and they raised a couple of their kids. Ultimately my father 3 kids and his sister 3 kids, and it was about, I don't know, 12 of us in a 3-bedroom house, and the living room was made into a bedroom, so it was really a 2-bedroom house, and so you could imagine all these people impoverished, packed in one little box, so everybody going through their struggles individually as well. From the child to the adult, everybody's struggling. So, everybody's kind of fiending for themselves, And then I look back on it in hindsight. But as a child, you be like, where y'all at? Feel me? Where y'all at? That's what you think as a child. Y'all grown, y'all old. Where y'all at? That's what you thinking. So, but my cousin David Lee took me under his wing, and he began to share things. Began to share things with me, his clothes and, his money, his whatever he could get a little money, because my siblings and I were totally neglected in that dynamic household. We was totally neglected. We never got really nothing for Christmas. The little one item or whatever we got was like a paper cap gun. Or come on, man, please. And everybody else got 5 or 6, 7, 8 more presents. You give me a paper cap gun. I'm supposed to go play Indian Chief or some more shit. But anyway, it is what it is. But he began to share everything he had with me, so I didn't feel without, so much, because I began to accept it. What was his was mine. And that's the way he felt, and that's the way I felt, and that's the way we lived. Hats off to my cousin David Lee, man. He did that from childhood to adolescence to young adulthood. Those 3 pivotal stages in my life, he held me down, saved me from a lot of shame in those pivotal transitional years, So I did have that unconditional love from my cousin David Lee. Even though he was young, he seen my pain. He felt my suffering, at a young age when everybody else was like they didn't see or didn't care. He seen it, and he embraced me, man. He said, I got you, cuz. Don't worry about I got you. What's mine is yours. Whatever they give me, I'm going to share it with you. I know they ain't giving you shit. You out of state, you trying to figure this out, and they are neglecting and abandoning you down here too. But I got you. I'm going to share whatever I got with you. So that was very comforting, But another thing that really shocked me at this time, in New York, I had already finished the 1st grade, in Buffalo. I finished the first grade. I think I might have went to school 31 on Stanton Street, PS 31. I'm not sure of the number exact, but it was on Stanton Street. Now, we lived about a block away from the school. And down in Memphis, they go to school a year later. You know, they start first grade a year later than they do in New York. So when I go get registered for school, I'm thinking, well, I'm finna go to the second grade, blah, blah. Man, the suckers put me back in the first grade. Oh, man. Talking about losing interest in school. Man, I done been there, done all that. You gonna put me back just because y'all got a different system? I said, so I just lost total interest in school after that. It wasn't stimulating. It was boring as hell, you know. And the Southern teachers didn't give a damn anyway, you know, point blank, just the way it was back then. You know. So that was another shock, you know, that I had to go through, you know. And so after that, my uncle getting murdered, me being molested by my neighbor, and being set back at school again, well, not again, but for the first time being set back in school, you know, I was just in shock. I was in a state of shock. I just responded to people. People might, hey, let's go do that. Okay, I was like a robot. I just responded, trying to fit in, trying to be accepted. But I didn't really have no thoughts of my own or nothing, because no one was kind of stimulating my mind. The school wasn't, the home wasn't, you know, so I was just trying to fit in and, you know, be accepted, period. But I was still in a state of shock, you know. And I can remember my fourth grade teacher saying, Cleveland daydreams too much. Because I lost interest in school. And I used to always think that my mother was going to walk by the window and look in and then come in the classroom and say, okay, Shandu. That's what she called me, Shandu. It's a nickname she gave me. She said it means Indian chief. And I thought she was going to say, okay, Shandu, let's go. We're ready to go back to New York. I was so waiting for my return to Buffalo, New York, you know, but it never happened, you know. But I was so waiting for many years, waiting on my mother to come and get me, man. I really was. And so that was a very, so after my uncle passed, and I was in 68, the year Dr. King got assassinated. It was really right down the street from where we lived at, in a Lorraine Hotel. And, none of my family members went down there and protested or nothing. They stayed at home. You know, I was like, man, they could have took us down there to see Dr. King speak before he got killed. It was in walking distance. But I never had that experience. And a lot of other experiences as well, what a child should experience in a positive way. So the first 10 years was, I got to say something positive, because it wasn't all negative. You know, first and foremost, my grandmother can cook. You know, I mean, she could cook. She can cook so good. She can make you forget about your pain. That's how good she can cook. You know, she cooks so good that she can make you forget about her neglect and abandonment of you in the same household. You know, she can cook that